acknowledged.
Get it going.
All right, that's great. We should be good to go.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of the Sustainability Advisory Committee to order on Friday, September the 20th at, I think, 1:02 p.m. First, we'll do our land acknowledgement. So we respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Cavan-Monaghan is located on the Treaty 20 Michi-Sagi territory in the traditional territory of the Michi-Sagi Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to First Nations for their care for their teachings about these lands. May we honor these teachings. And then we'll move to item 3. Can I have a mover and a seconder for approval of the agenda?
I will move.
Thank you, Ryan. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Thanks, Amanda. And then I believe Mark will do a recorded votes since I'm attending virtually today.
Sorry, we have a new member that I don't think I've met before. What's your name?
Lisa Crawford.
Lisa Crawford. Nice to meet you. I'm Mark from the deputy.
She's not new, you are.
Yes, I'm correct. New to me.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to call it a recorded vote order. So the chair, Bill Cox, you're first.
Yes.
Amanda Newell. Deputy Mayor Huntley.
Yes.
Craig Honor-Pritchett.
Yes.
And Lisa Crawford. So. Excellent.
Great. Does anyone have any disclosure of pecuniary interest to declare today? No. Super. And then could we also have a mover and a seconder for a motion to approve our minutes from our last meeting?
Go for it.
I'll move.
Thanks, Amanda. And then a seconder.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ryan. And then we'll do a recorded vote again.
Lisa Crawford.
Yes.
Craig Honor-Pritchett.
Yes.
Chair Bill Cox.
Yes.
Amanda Newell. And Deputy Mayor Huntley.
Yes.
Excellent.
Great. And so now we'll move on to item 6, general business. I believe we're going to do a budget discussion and then also discuss a tree planting initiative for the township. So Mark, do you want to do the budget discussion first?
I believe Kyle Phillips is going to provide an update for the finances for the committee first.
Great.
It's a long one here, 2 whole items.
Okay.
So we originally had 30,000 budgeted for contracted services. Obviously, we went ahead with the data analyst.
Yep.
That was at 22,000 plus HST. So if you don't know, our portion of the HST the municipality pays is not the 13%. It's a much smaller percent. So this is roughly that ended up being 22,660. Which leaves us with 7,340 in that line.
Okay.
In special equipment, the only thing we've used out of there so far is we did purchase the rain barrels for the rain barrel that we're going to do. We purchased 25 at $80 a piece. So we have $29.40 remaining in that. However, when we go to sell them, if we're selling them at $30 a rain barrel, we'll get back $750. Which leaves us at 3,690 in that.
90. Okay.
I feel like we're making money.
Yep. We should have go higher. So those are the only line items we have.
Okay. So I guess I'm just curious for myself. So the 36 that's remaining, if we are not able to, have another initiative for this fall, do we carry that money forward?
So I believe the 30,000 was a capital item. So it could roll over. The operating won't. But we propose our budget and then we propose how to respond.
You want my opinion?
Yeah, I'll take it.
So you proposed a capital budget very specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that there's money left over, it should go back to reserves because you're not going to continue unless you're
Yeah.
continuing that same
That's the,
capital.
and that's the only question is,
Yeah.
is it gonna be the similar thing? Probably not. So,
So,
like Deputy Mayor said, they probably neither of them will. My thought, but sorry, yeah.
no, I mean, you can almost make an argument for the second line item.
Yeah,
But we'd have to make the argument with what we're proposing for next year's budget, which is what I thought when you said budget discussions, we're getting ready for next year.
That's what we're going into, is
Okay.
just update where we're at now and then next year's
Yeah.
budget, because they were due today and
It's told.
well, Kimberly's not here and
The toilet rebate of this, the five.
no, so it's budgeted to other line items. So yeah, I don't know if you want to discuss 2025's budget, Leslie, where you wanna take
yeah,
that?
I would like to, I think we have a proposal following the budget item in terms of another program that we've touched upon, which was tree planting. But I think it's, we're kind of in a position right now where we have the 25 rain barrels, we don't know yet, are they all going to be sold or accounted for? How successful will the program be? But I think, generally speaking, looking at just even within Peterborough County, that seems to be a program that, residents generally seem to be pleased about. And I do think that, we could offer the program again next year. So I would like to suggest to the committee that we continue on with the Rain Barrel program into 2025. I'd also, something that I had brought forth just in an earlier conversation with Mark is, earlier this year, we talked about, or actually I think it may have been last year when we were planning for our 2024 budget, about rain gardens. So having a subsidy for rain gardens. And then in looking into that, we discovered that they're really quite essentially cost prohibitive. Like, I think right now the city of Peterborough is offering $1,000 to homeowners who meet the requirements to install a rain garden. So it's quite a hefty contribution. So alternatively, I've been thinking about, is there an opportunity for us to do a community rain garden somewhere? So we're still having the I would say, education and awareness piece in the community. We're still getting the benefit of a rain garden. It can be used, for education purposes. So it's just an idea that I thought we could potentially talk through a little bit more in terms of if that would be, something that we could find a way to make that happen. And then as well, we've talked quite a bit about having a tree program. So encouraging residents to plant trees on their property. And looking at ways to subsidize that. And we have some examples in the agenda package from the Township of Douro and as well from the Township of Ajax. And they're kind of different, they take a different approach to each program, but really, Craig, are you waving at me to say something? Oh, you guys are frozen. Can you guys hear me?
Hello, Leslie, can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Yeah, the audio's. Okay, we had a brief problem, the Hubble pod, the battery died on us. I'm
Okay.
sorry about that.
That's okay. I just wonder how long I rambled on for while you guys couldn't hear me.
Yes, thank you.
And just turn up the volume on the TV.
Can you hear us, Leslie?
I can hear you great. Can you hear me?
We're good now.
Genius.
Yeah, really.
Perfect. Thanks, Mark, for getting us back in line here.
Yeah. Well, the microphone's way over there, so she'll have a hard time hearing the rest of us.
No.
I
This is
can
the
hear you
last.
good.
You can hear me good?
I can. Lisa, can you say something?
Oh.
I can hear you perfectly. Are we waiting? Good, good. Are we waiting for Kyle to come back?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, just in case, because we want to make sure everybody can hear us from the live stream.
Okay.
Sure, Heather.
Okay.
I believe that's. I'm just going to test the audio. Sorry about this.
No. We're good. I can hear you guys.
Testing.
You're good.
Excellent. Sorry for the disruption. We can continue.
No, don't apologize. Thanks for correcting it so quickly. I'm not sure exactly when you guys were unable to hear me. So if I repeat myself, I apologize. But looking ahead to 2025 and, thinking about, some of the activities within the climate change action plan that, we haven't acted on, those were centered around more, I think, community focused initiatives. And we had been talking about the rain barrels, what we're doing, which is what we're doing, the tree planting. And then we had also had a conversation about community rain gardens. And so I'm just, I think, proposing to the committee are those initiatives that we feel, would align well with the climate change action plan. And also, be something feasible that the committee could bring forward to the community. So I think perhaps maybe we could start with the rain barrels in terms of, we've purchased the 25. We've yet to see what I think the adoption rate will be. But is that something that the committee believes would be a program worth running again in 2025?
And what that program cost us again, Leslie? Sorry, it was 25.80 or something? Is that what you said?
So it ended up being, so we spent $29.40, but we're going to get $750 back, I think you said, right, Kyle?
Correct, yeah.
So the balance in that account will be $3,690. So we've really only spent like $1,300.
Right.
And that was for 25 rain barrels that we're selling for $30 a piece, which is, a pretty good rebate that we're offering out into the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I would wonder from Kyle's perspective, and I know Bridget's not there, but how do you guys feel about the administration of that program? Because there is opportunities to have rainbarrel.ca administer it on our behalf. They are the ones who were administering the Ganaraska Conservation Authority program. And they were also, I believe, administering the program for the City of Guelph. So it's an online ordering portal. Do the same thing. We purchase the rain barrels from them. We tell them what the rebate is that we will be subsidizing. And then customers go online, they order it, and rainbarrel.ca does the delivery to the customer's home. So that's an option that we can consider for 2025, depending on how onerous these 25 rain barrels will be to administer the selling of.
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad. The company was really good to deal with. Like they sent the
They're great.
paid, so they were delivered before we paid. They were excellent that way. So I think we can still continue the way we
Okay.
have them, just to administer it ourselves. The payment part's gonna be fairly straightforward.
Okay.
We were planning yet to do it this Saturday, but I've been away myself sick, my kid's sick and everybody else is sick, school started, so. We're way behind that, but Bridget plans to do it, on October 5th.
Okay,
At the
Fall festival.
Fall Festival, thank you.
that's
So
great.
we're just working on logistics there on, we don't wanna bring all 25 down there, have to pile in somewhere, so we're just trying to figure out, people can pay down there, pick it up, say, at the community center or something, same day, just as they leave. So I think that program, how it's been not at all a burden so far for us to
Okay.
consider ourselves. And then and they don't overly like going to other websites for purchasing and stuff. We generally like to keep it in-house and we have our own options of payment, so I think we can handle it. So for 2025, if we do continue with Marine Barrels, I would propose that we continue the current program we have, because it seems to be easy.
Keep it
Yeah.
away until it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And I really like the idea of having a local supplier, like having them come out of BRT. You know, they're the same company that provides them to Green Up, so that if there ever is a problem, a customer gets one, you know, that perhaps has a defect, then, you know, they're available to help support that or fix it or switch it out.
Yeah, and they were very organized too.
Yes, yeah,
And we're already up the payment with them, so.
okay.
Yeah,
So I guess then really it would be the amount that we, you know, would want to order for a spring campaign. You know, provided we go through these 25, which I think we will fairly quickly at the price of $30. Do we want to budget for like 50 next year or 100? I'm just wondering what the thoughts are there from the committee in terms of the financial investment. Because if, you know, we did 50.
Well, they're net $50 a barrel, right? By the time we're done.
Well, yeah, you're right. If we offer a $30 rebate, then we're paying $50 a barrel. So if we do, yeah, if we do 100, then that's $5,000.
yeah, if you want my opinion, I know I'm just staff, but, our big ticket item was the data analyst. We're not gonna have that next year. I know we're gonna have a few more, but, I think these at $30 are gonna go fast. We've got a full year, like if we do a spring campaign, if we had some left over and we do a fall one, I think we could sell 100. It's $5,000. I don't think that would be an issue.
Okay. I mean, you know, we can ask for it, I think, and Ryan can advocate for us and.
Yeah, and storage right now like we do have them out here, there's more room, so we could definitely do 50 at a time, and maybe they'd be 2 purchases of 50 and 2.
Yeah.
I think the question would just be what else are we adding? Like, are we
Yeah.
just gonna be rain barrels, or are we gonna be? You know,
Yeah,
5,000 for rain barrels, 5,000 for trees, 5,000 for that, like the 5,000s add up pretty quickly, right? For
Yeah.
a small committee.
yeah,
So that are, let's throw everything on the table that we want to accomplish and then figure out the volume of it.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about our tree planting initiative. I guess we'll move into that. And I'm wondering, Amanda, would you mind I'm sorry for picking on you, but sharing about your day at Duro yesterday with regards to their community tree planting program?
Yeah, sure. So I went out to represent Kawartha Land Trust. Because the program I manage works with private property owners. We figured that people who had ordered trees through this program were interested in conservation on their private properties. So, you know, we were there to sort of plug our program, which basically just helps in general support stewardship on private properties throughout Kawartha and Peterborough County. And it was really interesting, you know, like the Keeners all came out and picked up their trees on the first day. So basically the township office had their little, I'm not sure if you've ever been there, but they have a little almost like gymnasium, auditorium. It's like their original township hall, town hall. And it was just full of trees, and they had them all organized with signs on the wall of the species type, and there were about 10 species. And I was there for the first day of pickup and people were just full of joy picking up their 5 trees. And the township staff was pretty excited about that aspect because they are like, people are usually coming to pay taxes or make complaints, do these unpleasant things, and they get to have this really positive experience at the municipal office. And most people would have ordered far more than the 5 available per property. Some people definitely used like neighbor and children's property addresses to order more, but it's great. It's trees going out into
Yeah.
the community, so really.
At $10 a pop.
They're-
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had a maximum, the township had a maximum of, I think 850 trees budgeted for, and they didn't reach their cap, but they got close. They got to 750. So I mean, as long as,
Yeah.
they still had 100 more they could have sold, and I think that they will probably continue into the future and keep doing this and ordering more and more because people were walking by asking about it and saying, oh, if people don't come pick their trees up, can I come and buy them on Monday? So definitely very positive and well received. And
Yeah.
well organized, smooth. Yeah, it seemed easy.
I'm happy to hear that.
Part of it, but
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that they, just to get an idea of how many they actually ordered, because I was unclear on that. So I think that would kind of be a good benchmark for us as well, just as a comparison. Do you know who supplied the trees for them?
yeah, Pine Needle.
Pine Needle?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're the go-to. And so I think what Pine Needle required was, they required a minimum order of something like 500 from the town. And then I think just so that they had an idea of how many trees to set aside safely and not sell for the season. And then just sort of they wanted to guarantee that at least 50% would go, just sort of some working with the company to make sure that they didn't get rooked at all. I don't know how much the township actually paid per tree and how much was subsidized, but I'd say a fair bit. These were, some of these trees were going on 6 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah, the fast growing ones like the river were tall. The sycamores were tall. I think they were all advertised as 2-year saplings. I don't know if they ended up being bigger, but people were really surprised at how big they were.
Yeah.
So, that's
Yeah,
like
for
for $10,
$10,
right? Like you
steal.
pay $100 at Peterborough Landscape Supply for a tree that size.
Easily.
Yeah, so the joy was real.
Kyle, was it you who mentioned that you had a contact at Pine Needle?
Yeah, I know Tracy, Ryan and I both know Tracy Richardson there, so I was planning on contacting her and then a few things came out about trees. Kind of looking off to see where this went and, but definitely if they did this and you guys are interested, we can follow up with her for sure.
They typically do like the little guys, right? And they do it through, I know they do it through an Orca program as well.
They'll do the little bare root bundles, 25 per bundle.
Exactly.
Which doesn't work for most residents because they're not into planting 25 of little plugs of
Yeah,
species.
that's why the 5 of a 6-foot tree is way better.
Yeah.
Very appealing for sure.
Yeah, because unless you've got acres and acres, 25 is a little bit much.
Yeah, and then you get people trying to organize amongst themselves and it gets complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I really like this option, but there is a second option that I sent to Mark from a company called, the name's escaping me right now. That's terrible. I'm going to call them Leaf.
Leaf.
Leaf. So Leaf is like a arborist, I guess, company, and they partner with municipalities in Durham and Clarington as well, I believe. And what they do is they have two different offers. So residents can go and pay, I think, yeah, so right here. So it's 160 to 230 per tree. And then they will plant the tree for you for $25. So you can also, as what's included in that is they will come out to your property. So a representative from LEAP, so they'll go to the homeowner's property, look at your property. They will make a recommendation in terms of what species would be best suited for your property, and then they will come back and plant it for you. So it's essentially like a full service type of initiative.
Mhm.
So that's another option that we can consider. I do not know where their trees are sourced from. I don't know what nursery they work with. I don't know what our cost per unit would be. I mean, we also don't know that from Pine Needle. But I think these are, probably like the main two avenues that we can consider how we would want to roll out a residential tree planting program in 2025. So do we want to stick to the self-service where we're leveraging, working with a local nursery, and then the township staff are managing the delivery of the trees and the resident purchase, or do we want to explore a full service option?
I think you have two different sort of client types there.
Mhm.
You know, you have people who are interested in a few trees planted in their yard, but they don't know how to do it. They maybe have the money to pay a little bit more per tree for this service. But I think we'd have more people participate in the first option.
I think the first option as well, kind of, it's almost a little bit more community spirit in it.
I
right?
agree.
From the sounds of it, like you kind of get everybody involved, where you're right, like that one seems to be more you contact and they deliver it kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why are we even engaged? Like, why would we?
Yeah, I mean, it could be something if someone came and asked, oh, I'm interested in trees, but I can't take care of it. I can't plant it. You could recommend this.
And
but-
sorry, not to.
No,
cut you
go
off.
ahead.
In all honesty, I think Peterborough Landscaping will do the same thing. Like
Yeah,
they'll come out to your
probably.
property and tell you what tree would be best.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a unique service.
Right.
It's not, it's a subsidized program that the municipality is offering, but you're right. Many landscape companies do offer that. And I wonder, just thinking about Pine Needle, if they would even be willing, or we as a committee could work towards trying to just give people a little bit more information about the tree species that are going to be selling, and like where they can be planted and how you care for them. And
Duro had information sheets out for each species.
okay.
So people who weren't quite sure definitely took one for each species. And you could even do, there's lots of resources for teaching people how to plant and take care of trees.
Yeah.
Online stuff.
Even
the people,
demos day of, right?
the people from Pine Needle are, they're super keen on ensuring and educating around these trees. They want these trees to survive. So I wasn't there, but apparently the person who delivered them was just piling the information to the township staff, and they were like, oh. So, like the information is there. We just need to, we'd have to figure out the best way to pass that on. But the information sheets, at least it was something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like it. I agree with your perspective, and I like the community element of it, which I think is, for me personally, like a value that the sustainability committee can bring to the community is having these community events, talking to people, talking to them about the importance of it, or just, getting them interested or excited and, making small changes to their life, whether that's with the rain barrel or tree planting or, whatever comes out of our energy data compilation in terms of what, we may want to tackle when we see those numbers. So I like the community aspect of working with Pine Needle and doing something similar to what Duro has done.
It also, like, if we partner with the township on this one, like, I mean, we could probably get more trees that way than just the committee, but it also gives this committee a little bit more airtime with the community.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess for the budgeting, Kyle, are you okay to reach out to Pine Needle, or would you like, I'm happy to help you if you.
I can reach out, yeah.
Okay. And then we can find out.
Like, sure, they have the program of the little guys, but maybe they have the 2-gallon pots too.
Easement?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was gonna reach out to.
Yeah, like these are from, all these trees were from Pine Needle, right? I think you said it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna reach out to Tracy directly and see what we can do for this.
Yeah,
Because
Chair Bill Cox, I have a question. Since this is something that you're looking to have included in the budget proposal for 2025, either we need to have a concrete dollar value that we can attach to this. I know this is kind of still work in progress. I understand that. So either that, or we could potentially keep the sustainability community initiatives pot of a certain amount, and then you could take the money from that out of there, and maybe there'd be some leftover for some other items. Do you have a money proposal, or would you prefer to put it under the sustainability?
So that's what we're trying to work towards, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got the rain barrels with the trees.
Yeah.
Got one more item.
yeah, I think, I agree, we need to figure out a unit price, so whether that's, Kyle through Pine Needle, or also, potentially there's somebody at Durrell, we can just call and say, how much did you guys pay a unit for these? And go from there. And then the last item that we've spent some time talking about at the beginning of the year was a rain garden. So a community, well, initially we were talking about individual residents applying for a subsidy to put a rain garden on their property. When we realized what the cost of that would be, just wasn't feasible for our budget. So, thinking about, is there still an opportunity to do something like that at a community level, where we have the opportunity to promote awareness and educate the community on water conservation, why rain gardens are important, that they limit stormwater runoff, they help filter and clean the water as it enters into our water source. So there's, I think a good opportunity to really have a community awareness and education piece surrounding, a rain garden. And then, potentially people may replicate that at their own property, and in years to come, perhaps we could have a program for residents. But I'm wondering what the committee thinks about doing it at a community level instead of at an individual household level, to meet some of our requirements around, I don't remember the exact metric, but within the climate change action plan, there is a metric around water conservation, water protection. So I thought that may be an interactive way to move that metric forward.
Excuse my ignorance on this one, Leslie, but what's the difference between a rain garden and like a pollinator garden? Like, are they different?
Yes, they're different, and I'm not by any means an expert in rain gardens. I've just quickly looked at GreenUp's programming, but rain gardens are a bit more. It depends on, like, you have to put them on a specific place in the property to capture the water runoff. And they have to be the way that they are dug and ditched or drained. I'm not sure the proper terminology. That what makes a pollinator garden different from a rain garden. So a pollinator garden may just be a very shallow garden bed with native plants. A rain garden may look very similar to that, looking at it, just from the ground up, but it's underneath the ground in terms of how it's supposed to be built and the layers that go into it that generate the water conservation and the water filtering attributes of a rain garden.
So I'm
But
not
if that's a more
familiar.
technical explanation, go for
I'm
it.
not too familiar either, but is it like dependent upon runoff from roofs, or is it stormwater?
Oh,
Just rain on
Storm,
it.
stormwater management, like.
The whole idea.
Okay.
it sounds like
Yeah.
a mini stormwater pond, but it's not, you said it's not a surface pond, like it's
it's
so
a
you
garden.
use, yeah,
It's like
specific
a pretty swell.
soils to
Yeah.
maintain.
Oh, okay.
It's, yeah, I
A
mean,
ditch garden.
the main feature is that you're planting in a dip, right? So like any rain that's captured in that like puddle essentially is not going to flow away from the property. It's gonna seep
Okay.
into the ground. So I mean, I think it can vary from literally just being a dug out bed versus either a flat or raised bed to getting more complicated with adding like more absorbent mulches and whatnot into the soil.
So the idea is that you're spending less water to water your garden, so it's naturally gonna
Yeah,
get all the water it can from your property.
I think,
Absorb,
yeah, instead of
Absorb
water
surrounding
flowing
water,
and
yeah.
flowing down the street and into the sewers or down the street, collecting
Retain.
pollutants and going into the creek, you're retaining the water and forcing it into the, not forcing it,
Force-
encouraging,
get
encouraging
down
it
there.
into
Mhm.
the soil,
Yeah.
the water table that way.
Yeah, there's actually, I should have sent this, I apologize, but there was a really good diagram. It was from the Toronto Regional Conservation Authority, and they did like, I guess, a cross section of what a rain garden looks like and the different layers within it, and it was quite informative. So I can circulate that to everybody afterwards. So I don't know, like, what do you guys think about that, and what like, what would our options be for making that happen?
Can I jump in there for a second?
Yeah.
So about, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months ago, we had a presentation from the butterfly pathway people.
Oh, yeah.
David Suzuki
Cool,
Foundation,
yeah.
Yeah.
Butterfly
Yeah.
Project.
And it was more of the pollinator side versus the
Rain.
rain garden side. And I know council was kind of liking the idea, but was concerned about the maintenance and the upkeep of the thing, right? But I think you were tasked with, are there locations that would make sense?
Yeah, so that is, we're working with that with the parks budget right now, and one of the aspects with the David Suzuki is, it has to have watershed abilities for these pollinator gardens, so
Right.
they are in essence rain gardens as well,
Cool.
yeah.
Usually there's rain gardens planted with native species that are pollinator plants.
They have to be pollinators, they have to have a watershed, and, trying to remember, there's one other thing,
A certain size.
reduce
maybe?
carbon emissions.
Yeah, but ironically, after that, like you walk around the CMCC and all those gardens that are around the playground are essentially pollinator gardens. Right?
Yes.
We've kind of already done it, right, which is great.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, do we let parks run with it? Or do we try to move it into our budget where it stands a better chance of getting swiped?
I mean, if it's already in the works.
My thought would be concentrate on the first two, the rain barrel and the trees, and we'll work with the
Yeah.
garden with the David Suzuki project.
Cool. Do you
And
have,
maybe we can have Bridget draft up like a communication campaign from the sustainability committee to share what you guys are doing, Chris, with the Parks project.
Or it could be even part of a partnership, right? You pay for it, we
Yeah.
help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect partnership.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Different levels of support for sure, so.
and is there worry about maintenance still?
I think for this committee for budgetary, I don't think you have to worry about the budget part of it. The maintenance,
Sure.
we're working through
Yeah.
location maintenance
Yeah.
and,
Once it's established, they're pretty low maintenance, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
So,
and sometimes you can get like school groups or horticultural groups.
Yeah, so the resident that brought it forward too, I think she's interested
Okay,
in doing a lot of
cool.
the maintenance on it as
Yeah,
well. and,
so the trick is-
education and.
the trick is to get the one in there, right, and show that it's low maintenance, and low effort, and great reward.
Yeah.
Then it'll be easier to buy in.
Yeah.
And ideally, there'd be a real education piece around it where residents can see it, understand what it is, and know how to implement it. Like, you have to tell people,
Mhm.
this is where you get the plants, people won't do it if it's complicated.
Well, getting the plants isn't even that difficult anymore. I mean, anybody can Google whatever. The question more is what plants, right? So when the garden goes in, as long as it's labeled,
Like
these are the
educational
plants,
signage.
100%.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then people know what plant to go get
Yeah.
to replicate. It's like putting clothes on a mannequin.
Definitely
Yeah.
doing ahead of time. They can come see what it is, we can promote it better,
Yeah.
and then we understand it better. And before we have a program where we're funding it for other people, and we don't know how much.
That's
Yeah.
kind of, I think, the right
Yeah.
path for it.
Yeah.
Are you doing that for the pollinator gardens at the CMCC?
No.
Like a signage saying this is a pollinator garden?
I think we under promote the fact that it's pollinator garden
Yeah.
at the get-go, right? Like,
Put
like
a
it-
sign there.
yeah, we could use
The
signs there
traffic is
too as
high,
well.
that's
Yeah.
where-
Yeah.
That's where the families are
Yeah.
going, who
Totally.
might consider this program.
very good point.
Definitely, yeah. So just on that, I'm thinking about, kind of Ryan and Amanda, you guys were just chatting about is, how do people know what to plant? This could potentially be something we could semi-partner with Green Up on, because they have their Green Up nursery, in Peterborough there, where they sell all native plants and can help residents, pick out plants suitable for both their property and that are native and fit the definition of a pollinator garden. So there is resources out there. It's not like that we have to recreate them, but really can we direct people to all of the resources out there so that they can approach this in a self-service way. And then potentially we could, maybe not 2025, but maybe the following year, we could offer a subsidy for homeowners to purchase native plants, and we could do it in a partnership with Green Up or something to that effect.
There's also a permaculture garden at the zoo, which is just another kind of way of thinking about pollinator gardens. And then you could have a permaculture demonstration garden that would have similar signage.
Yeah. Get a whole slew of demonstration gardens going.
Yeah.
Well, we could almost work towards almost an expo, like once a year, like on Earth Day or something like that, right? And have rain barrels, have garden demos, have, the trees talks. We could have everybody from Green Up to Orca to,
Yeah.
I love that, yeah.
to everybody, like.
Do we want to be ambitious and plan that for next year?
We can let you talk.
Do you need to?
And that would be the chair's discretion. Leslie, Karen Graham is looking to speak up. It would be your discretion if she can speak, though she's not a formal committee member.
Or
Okay.
you can yell at her. Oh, no.
I was
Please,
just thinking, thank you. I was just thinking that pollinator plants tend to be native, and so they tend to do very well. So people who have those plants in their gardens usually have an abundance of them, and they would be very happy to donate them. So if you had an event, you would have donations and they wouldn't have to go and buy them, which would be even more encouraging, I would think. And I'd be including, would you like some?
To that point as well, then you know that they're established and,
They're local.
Do well.
yeah.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
Another provider, it's not in our township though, to be considered is, I don't know if anybody's ever gone to Ground Covers. Yeah, in Bethany,
Oh, I don't know them.
yeah.
There's Grow Wild in Omimi too.
So their focus is more on like herbaceous plants, right? But they do have shrubs as well. They have trees too, but I think they've gotten out of the trees and the focus is more shrubs and herbaceous, like ground cover plants.
And native? Like
All native.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like
One that's up like Porter Road.
Porter and
All the greenhouses.
Seven,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just something.
I really like that idea. So I think just to summarize what we've said is parks will pay for the actual rain garden or butterfly garden. And then, but what we can do is we can alternatively plan for an Earth Day event, which I love that idea, and have our rain barrels or trees. Karen's suggestion about having residents donate, their plants that they've had to divide, and being able to also share information with residents around, other species that are native and support biodiversity, and also just educate people, like, to Ryan's point, like have Orca there, have Green Up there, and have people there who can help residents who maybe do want to, take some of these steps, but they're unsure of how to start.
now it's budget.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess really what we're saying for our 2025 budget, the contenders are continuing the rain barrel program, doing a tree planting program, and then having an Earth Day event.
Chair Bill Cops, can I make a suggestion from what has been discussed so far?
Yes.
It sounds like the rain barrel program, my understanding is a proposal for 25, you were looking at subsidizing 100 barrels, basically the total costing 50 apiece. I would suggest we make that a separate item, basically rain barrel program requesting $5,000. And the remaining items, because we don't have any fixed amount yet attached to them, they would follow under pot money of the community sustainability initiatives, including anything that would go to Earth Day, tree planting program, or any other project that the committee would conceive of in 2025. The previous year's amount is $5,000. I would suggest, as I don't want to put my finger on the scale, but we could put that as a starting level. I don't know if the committee members want to put a number to it. I don't really want to. It's not my job to.
I'd say double it.
Yeah, like when do we need to have this in by?
Oh, yeah, and so, kind of what Mark said, we could identify them all now, because this is only first draft.
Right.
So
Yeah.
with 2 drafts, this will go to, so we could identify them all, and put a number to.
Yeah.
There's like 2, put a number to it, I more prefer to actually put a number to it. Instead of having one program identified and then another one that's really one program, but it's a guess, so. It's either 5 and 5 or 5 and 10, but again, this is only our first draft, so.
When do you need it?
Think
by,
of
Molly?
where they're gonna be, we can have a conversation with Tracy and come back if there's a big discrepancy.
I think we're okay for a first draft, putting it something like 15,000 compared to last year where we had 35,000. So we're already
Yeah.
looking
Exactly.
sweet,
Yeah,
right? And I think 10,000 will get us a good number of trees.
I think
plus
Duro
everything.
Dummer started with about 10,000 in the first year that they did the program.
Yeah,
yeah, that's exactly what I pictured, 10 and 5, so.
We do need a concrete number for the motion to propose to the committee.
Yep.
There can be some tinkering that goes around after the fact, but we do actually want a dollar value attached to the motion.
Why don't we have a motion to put forth 15,000?
Mhm.
And we'll just put it down, like we can just put it in.
do we want to put one number as 15 or do we want to put a 10 and 5?
I mean, I'm fine to put a 10 and 5 and say, dedicate the 5 to rain barrels specifically. And then do 10 with, I guess the explanation on the 10 would be a tree program. We can provide, I think, some of the information that we have from Duro just to help support that until we get a number from. Tracy.
I would say we put down 5,000 for the rain barrels and we put 10,000 for community initiatives.
Yeah,
I will
and
make
then we
that
would do the Earth Day and the trees out of the 10,000.
until we get more details on the trees. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Mark, would you like us to have a motion on that?
Yes, if you don't mind, Chair Bill Cox, I'm just gonna read out the draft budget motion first to the committee, and this is something that I did on the fly, but I semi-prepared. So,
I like it.
hopefully it's good, and then if the committee's fine with that, we can move to mover, seconder, and then the vote. So the motion will be this, that the Sustainability Advisory Committee request for the 2025 budget, $10,000 for community sustainability initiatives, and the addition of one new item for 2025 being the rain barrel program, requesting $5,000.
Okay,
Lisa wants to move.
Lisa will
great. So can we have a mover and a seconder on that?
second.
Lisa
You'll
Amanda?
first, I'll second.
Oh, yeah.
Well done.
All right,
Glad to
I'm
show up to these.
just gonna go to the recorded vote. Deputy Mayor Huntley,
Yes.
Lisa Crawford, Craig Anna
Yes.
Leslie Bilkoff, or Chair Bilkoff, and Amanda Newell.
Yes.
Excellent.
Excellent.
You get a check mark?
Yeah.
And you'll be happy.
Cindy will have a little panic and talk about the technical difficulties that we were a bit worried about beforehand because this was not charging properly, we thought. Sorry.
No, that's great. Okay, so thanks, Mark. So I think we're done with our 2025 budget discussion and we can move forward into our work plan.
Leslie, if you don't mind, we have some additional materials from Bridget Ayot. Could I provide you a motion to introduce them?
Yes, please. Thank you. Yes.
Can we just have a motion to that the Sustainability Advisory Committee approve the additional materials for the work plan, specifically the promotional materials on the rain barrel program?
Mark, did you send those to me via email?
I have them on the screen.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, great.
Sorry, Leslie, I don't want to open up my email on a live stream just in case.
No,
Protection of privacy.
I'll move
So
it.
can we get a mover and a seconder on the motion to accept? Ryan, thank you. Seconder. These are shy. Lisa.
All right, we have to go to recorded vote.
Oh, yeah.
So Amanda Newell,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Huntley,
Yes.
Craig Anna
Yes.
Lisa Crofton,
Yeah.
and Chair Bill Cox.
Yes.
All right, the materials are introduced. You can discuss them now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I guess we'll start with Kyle, the toilet rebate program. Do we have any updates on that?
Yeah, it's going well. It's
Good,
going a lot better than the first pilot program.
that's great to hear.
We have about 8 people in the queue at different stages that we've done inspections on. So the first program, we had 3 total ever did it. So we've got 8 already at various stages. And of those 8, a lot of them are multiple replacements. So we're probably up to like 12 or 13 toilets so far.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot better than the first one.
What do you think the difference is?
First one was through COVID, so I think we didn't do as good a job getting the word out there. And then people just weren't interested in their toilets at that time too. It came in right before COVID. But I think also we've expanded to the rest of the township, so a lot of them have been outside Millbrook too. So I think all 3 not having COVID, and Bridge has pushed out a lot of social media on it, so.
And wasn't the amount, didn't we offer a higher rebate amount this time?
Yeah, so that's the other thing. It was $50 per and now it's 100. Toilet prices have gone up, but I think that it's still a better incentive. People are picking them up. There's a lot of deals right now, Costco and Home Depot, that their receipts are like $2.50. So, yeah, so it's a big chunk of that. So,
Great.
yeah.
That's great. It
Does
would be
it-
really great. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, Les, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Like,
Okay.
you have to prove that's not a brand new toilet?
Yeah,
You have to
so
show them the old toilet?
2 inspections. I gotta show up before they
Okay.
replace it.
Okay.
There's been some interesting inspections on that. And then I gotta show up after and they have to have the receipt.
Okay.
See that's been installed, so yeah. One house, the 2, I literally couldn't find the house. And it was right in front of me. So it was long story. But all these trees growing over it and I couldn't figure out where to get into this house. They're expecting me and to kind of go through the tree to get into it.
Like a fairy tale.
It was very much, there's this little tiny door and.
You just have to eat this mushroom.
Yikes.
Kyle, do you think there's any way just to even, when we're at the end of the year, we know how many toilet rebates have actually been completed, to track that as a committee to say we potentially saved, well, we have saved, this much water annually, or helped residents save this much water annually simply by upgrading their toilet?
Yep, yeah, we planned on tracking it and maybe even reporting it to council as well, so we're
Yeah.
definitely going to do a little bit more on the reporting side of it for sure.
That's great.
Nice.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. So, and I guess the next one is yours as well, the data analysis program. Excited to hear how that's progressed and what your thoughts are on the results, if you've seen anything yet.
So, yeah, so we've had one meeting with the consultant and we definitely picked the right one. They were very good, very organized. And we've had a lot of back and forth with them on some further information. So they want to come back and try to get a bit of more information from Hydro One and from Enbridge, just on a little bit more detail if they can, that they think they'll be able to provide in other ones that they've dealt with. If not, what we have for information is pretty good. Yeah, we're just sending them off all of our facility data, types of buildings, so that they can get, energy per footprint established. We've kind of walked through that. There is a big key component that will be missing, but everybody is missing, and that's propane. We have propane users in the township, and you just can't get that information. So, sadly, I thought maybe they'd have an idea as to that, but it's pretty much, you can't get it, and there's no way to. So all you can do is, they have kind of a provincial standard between Northern Ontario, Southern Ontario, how much usage per household overall people using propane. So we're just going to factor those numbers in. But yeah, other than that, it's going well so far, but we're still in the early stages of it.
Okay, and when remind me when they were supposed to be finished?
Before Christmas.
Before Christmas, okay.
That's where we're shooting. We did get a little bit of maybe a week delay start, so, but it's still not.
Okay, so, we can expect as a committee to, I think, hopefully review the results at our first committee meeting in 2025.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'll bring an update to the November 1st one as well.
Okay, great, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions about that before we move on? No, okay. Okay, I think we can probably just skip over number 3 because we haven't done anything with that with that plan as we're waiting for the analysis to be complete. And great, moving on to our rain barrel communications.
Chair Bill Cox, can you see the items?
I can, yes, thank you. It just came up on my screen. That's why I kind of stopped talking. I started reading.
Yeah, so Bridget just got this out and approved there before she left, approved to show you guys today before she left today.
Approved by who?
Sorry, just our CAO two as a,
I'm just wondering
something
why
to share.
cash only and, I thought you mentioned the pickup was at the CMCC and.
So, yes, so, and then we've only talked about this today. Today is my first day back and she's only here half day. So we're thinking cash only because, we're, as long as we advertise it ahead of time, cash only, just makes the administration of it that much easier. And we don't have the means to go at the fall festival to have some kind of interact down there. So that's why we're kind of proposing it for $30 cash only, so as long as people know ahead of time. And the pickup we haven't quite got down yet because we don't want to bring 25, like the rain barrels take up, that big of a space, 25 of them. We don't want to put it down there at the fall festival and then how does somebody get it in there out to their vehicle? So we're kind of looking at having a couple there, buying it there and then driving up to somewhere. We have talked with Chris yet as to where we could have the location or at the Parks Depot also in town. There's a couple of locations where they could just, when they go leave the fall festival, just drive right in town, go pick it up from a more practical location.
Or they could they pick it up an alternative day, if they're at the fall
Yeah,
festival?
we could arrange that too as well, yeah. If some people, if they're out of town too and they're not coming back, we're wanting to have some available down there, but.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I love I think this is a great idea to have it at the fall festival, have a couple barrels there so people can look at them. That's all great. I like the points that you guys have included in here around essentially why you should buy a rain barrel. And I agree with what Lisa's saying, like the cash only, just because I have no idea where my bank card is. Not like I want the whole world to know that, but which means I never have cash on me.
It's under your driver's seat.
Probably, you're probably right. So
we can talk about that. That was just initially
yeah,
it's a little easier administratively too, if we don't have multiple options, especially when we take the purchasing outside of the municipal office at, because we only had 25, but.
We don't have a square.
What's that?
Don't have square.
Don't have square little thing.
Yeah, also outside of township hours, we
Yeah.
have the ability.
So we can access like our actual software, so. And we've done cash only for these type of things before, and as long as we advertise it ahead of time, and people are aware, then, I mean, there's a food land right there, right, with an ATM, you can
Yeah,
go over
that's
and get,
true.
so,
Such a good deal.
yeah, and it's a good deal, so.
yeah. And I guess if there's leftovers or if people don't have cash, we can say two things. If we have leftovers, you can purchase one from the municipal office, which is what I think you were kind of getting to earlier in the meeting. And then secondly, we can say that, we hope to run the program again in the spring.
Mhm.
Should we advertise that? Like, cause it's not a forever, like this is your offer here. Come now and get it. Like, it's not, and
Yeah.
at the township office afterwards is, only if we don't sell them all.
If they're available, yeah.
So it's almost like you gotta kind of push to, if you want one, come down and get it. Right?
Although to that point though, it says pre-order. And I went to this web link and I'm not seeing the
Oh, you know
pre-order.
what, she's removed the pre-order. This was because she just got it off, as she was walking through the door, she said, I don't want to do the pre-order, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
So she may have taken down, well, she probably hasn't established the link either yet, because.
Well, the link's up,
This-
I'm at the web
Oh,
page, but it doesn't have any pre-order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how do you pre-order it cash only?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
No,
But yeah, I
think
guess she was thinking,
If you pre-order, you can pay for it ahead of time.
Yeah.
I think that's what, but that's why she didn't want to get away from it, I think. This was more for discussion purposes. So
Oh,
we
it's a
haven't got-
concept, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, it's just a concept right now.
Yeah, I would take out the pre-order and I
Yeah.
would have cash on the barrelhead.
That's essentially where she's
Yeah,
at.
and say limited number, when they're gone, they're gone.
Is that what we wanna say though, or do we wanna say, if you are number 26, we'll put you on a wait list for our returning program next year?
Or just say, this batch or this
Mhm.
intake only has this many,
Just a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, well, I can say a lot of pressure.
It doesn't, it should say that there's
Yeah.
limited quantities though,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
don't want people disappointed, right?
Now, what we could do is we could say, if you're interested, leave your name and phone number. And if we get another 20-25 people, we still have money.
Exactly.
We could go buy more.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, technically, there's nothing to say we can't take the money and order another 25, like. the
That
next
was
day,
probably, yeah.
Absolutely right.
right?
Sorry, I just am like, yeah, that's a great idea, because, BRT can turn them around, I think, in like a week. So really, there's no reason to turn people away, well, except for our budget. But I don't think we would exhaust it, but I think, and it's great for us to know, like, how many people are interested, like how many
That's a
people.
good point, sorry, Leslie, like, what did you say is left in the budget?
In that part, after we make our money back, 36.90.
So divided by 50 is what, another 150 barrels?
No,
No.
70 or so.
70, sorry, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right, sorry, it went the other way, 70 barrels.
Yeah.
So we could take up to another, like 50 or so barrels, orders
Yeah.
after this, right?
Yep.
So limited quantity on stock, plus
Mhm.
back order.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If they're willing to wait,
Yeah, and I don't know if I missed this, but what do they look like? Like what color are they?
they're
I
outside.
mean, I'll bring them.
Yeah.
'Cause that's not on the website either, but I know some people are a little, I don't want a big blue
they
barrel.
are, yeah, they're like the top of the line rain barrel.
Are they?
They're gold?
But they do have a brass, faucet.
Do
And
you
a
have to
screen.
prove that they're a resident or give an address?
Yes, they have to be a resident of the township.
So how do you show that? What do you ask of people on the day of?
Driver's license usually,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Identification would be the
Yeah.
way we do it for other services,
Okay.
so.
Should that be added to the communication then? too?
Probably, yeah.
So right now we have, we want to add.
Oh, that's what I was hoping for.
nice.
That's exactly what it's, an olive girl, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they are.
Okay, this is what's it.
They're
Nope.
recycled olive barrels.
I'll buy two.
Awesome.
Well, we've already got staff, like, wait, so my staff just asked me.
I can't remember, did we do an inventory of our facilities, whether they're places?
So with that, yeah, with our facilities, a lot are flat roof and they're already direct to drain.
Right.
We do have Lions Den we could.
Mhm.
But municipal office, the arena, Bruce Johnson Library, we could do.
Einstein, do you have any? gardens
But
you
for the
use
use of it, they did actually just clean up the garden in front.
Oh, they did,
It's
okay.
planning.
Their little
Yeah,
flower.
yeah, and the Bruce Johnson has garden as well.
Yeah.
So, does anyone have any other suggestions with regards to what we're just prepared? Because right now we want to add limited quantities. We want to have, ask people to provide proof of residence, to be a township resident. And then do we want to put anything on here about what we discussed about potentially being able to order up to another additional 50 units? Like, do we want people to pay and then we're going to order it, or do we?
I don't think we want to put that on the advertisement, I think that's our internal knowledge, right?
Sure, I agree.
Like at the fall festival, so Bridget will be working it, I think she can say, if we're running low, cause we'll have the two display or one display when they're. I think she can say, we can take your name and phone number if you're interested in another one, if we get enough, we can order.
Okay,
Or we could take payment and then we're committed to it, but if we take payment, then we only get 3. Or something like that, they've already left.
Is there a
Now
minimum
they're-
order?
I'm not sure, that's the only thing.
I mean, I think you said the minimum order was like 10. When I talked to him, Clive, I think his name was.
I mean, it's a good deal, I'm sure the people, if they left their name, phone number, information, I'm sure that from the.
My only concern with that is you're starting to get into a little more administrative than you probably want to, right?
Yeah, they're still gonna need to pick them up, so we're gonna need to verify them anyhow, verify them payment,
True.
yeah.
Okay, so
Like,
maybe,
you can deposit, like a $10 deposit.
That gets into financial administration. I'm trying to get away from anything financial.
Easy as possible.
Yeah. So I mean, worst case scenario, we take their name, their address, we place an order for more. If they don't pick them up, then we just save them for next year. Or we just keep the program open and people can come in and purchase one.
Yeah, I think all we really need to know for today is that if you guys support purchasing more, if we have more interest, then we can figure the details from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money's in the budget.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then do we need a motion, Mark, to kind of mention the changes or the suggestions to Bridget on this, you know, what we think we might want to add or remove off of this draft?
Direction.
Yeah, I think that's more direction to staff. I do have the two recommendations that the committee was explicit about over here written down. But I think just including that, it can be included in the updates for the work plan, and then we'll follow up with other staff for the changes.
Okay, great. Perfect. So I think this is we are good on this. Does anyone have anything else before we move on?
So with the facilities, we do have rain barrels at the old school for the community garden. So they've been in place for 10, 15 years now.
Mhm.
And they're holding up.
Yeah, perfect, good. Little fix on them a few years ago,
They're made of asbestos and.
but.
Lead line, great
Asbestos.
for drinking water.
Great. Was this with the last item on the work plan?
It was,
the fifth one.
that was, the rain barrels were the fifth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we skipped one.
Yeah, I think Bridget's not here to do the communication update. I mean, other than the rain barrels. So that's great. So I think,
Leslie, sorry, Chair Bill Cox, can I just clarify something for the committee? It sounds like the community tree planting program, that's the name I used for it in the agenda. Would you want to be added as a work item? Because it sounds like it's something the committee is interested in going forward with, and it probably would go under as a separate work item. I'll include that with the motion.
okay, yes, please, thank you. Yes, so I think we should add the community tree planting as item number 6. And, you know, I think the next step is staff's going to reach out to Pine Needle to get what our unit price would be per tree. And then come back to the committee so we can, you know, I guess move forward with that project, and then also get an idea of our community initiative budget line item, how much will, you know, need to go towards trees.
Excellent. Do you want me to read out the motion then for the work plan?
Please.
Yeah, so that the Sustainability Advisory Committee approved the updates for the work plan and add one new work item, the community tree planting program.
Can I have a mover and a seconder? Lisa, thank you. And a seconder. Craig, thank you. And then Mark will do a recorded vote.
Chair Bill Cox, you are first.
Yes.
Lisa Crawford.
Yes.
Amanda Newell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Huntley.
Yes.
And Craig Onofrichuk.
Yes.
Excellent, we're good to go.
Great. So I think that is it. Our next meeting is November the 1st at 1 p.m. And I will ask for an adjournment. Thank you, Ryan. And then thanks, Amanda, for seconding. And
Recorded vote, sorry.
sorry.
Lisa Crawford.
Yep.
Craig Onofrichuk.
Yes.
Chair Bill Cox.
Yes.
Amanda Newell.
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Huntley.
Yes.
Great.
Good job. Well done, Leslie.
Guys. Thanks,
All right.
guys. Thanks. I'm excited. Thanks for attending, Karen. Hope you guys